No. If you do an alcohol on, and it happens to be a shellac or some of the lacquers, it will mar it quite badly, and it just kind of redissolves it and pushes it further in. With the antique oil and the steel wool, it kind of cleans it off. It doesn't push it back in. Right? Okay. If you're working with paint varnish, yes.
Finished cupboards like oak.
Yes.
Mine are about 25 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and they do tend to darken with the honey oak.
Yeah.
If you want to, to refresh them, can you go over them again with another sealer? Like, if you have a product that you could wipe on just to bring them up a little bit more? Is
just to add a little bit of gloss back to them, or just a little.
And those marks that they were talking about up there,
Sure.
the finger marks.
Wouldn't it, like if it was previously finished with any kind of a polyurethane finish, you can obviously you can go back and give them a light scuff sanding and throw another coat on them. If you're not sure whether it's polyurethane or not, usually what I suggest to do is do a test piece on the inside of where the garbage can is, that door in there. That's usually the worst door in your whole kitchen. And do a little sample test on there. And what I've done in the past is taken, if even if it's a lacquer finish, I've taken a bit of steel wool, give it a light scuff, let it set for a couple days before I go try to put anything on it, so it kind of skims back up a little bit, so you're not open pores so much. And then I've taken some wipe-on poly and actually done wipe-on poly over top of it and freshened it up that way. And what it does is it gives you a better, if the film is still fairly good all the way around, like it's not wore through in a lot of spots, it just needs a little life freshening up, that's a good way to go. Or the other thing you want to do before you start that, and I'm just going to steal out of this bucket here, we do have a wood cleaner product like this, and this is meant for all kinds of hardwood clean, or hard shell finishes. So whether it's even laminate flooring, anything like that, you can use this to clean it. But sometimes in the kitchen, what happens is over time you get a lot of oils in the air and steam and that kind of stuff, and it leaves a little bit of residue on there. Use this cleaner on it first just to see if that cleaning it is all you really need to do. Because sometimes the cleaners that we use in the kitchen they leave a soap film behind. They don't really clean the film back off, and that one just cleans the film right back off. I'll tell you a little story about that hardwood floor cleaner. We have two products, and they're a blue bottle like that, and one's called a hardwood floor cleaner, one's called a wood cleaner. It's the same product in both bottles, so don't be fooled by that. The thing about this product was it was developed because when we started building polyurethanes years and years ago, people asked us what you use to clean your floors, and at that time it was a little bit of water with a few drops of vinegar in it, and you clean the floor, and then you come back and buff it off and get rid of any residue. Well, this cleaner, what it does is what it doesn't do. It doesn't deteriorate the film, it doesn't leave any residue behind, and you don't have to use a lot of water. So when you're cleaning floors or any wood cabinets or anything like that, the last thing you want to be doing is putting a lot of water on it, because if you do, you get a lot of water on wood cabinets. First thing water does to wood, if they find an open pores, it swells, right? So you're getting all kinds of problems with it. This one won't swell up the fibers of the wood or anything like that. You wipe it off with just a moist cloth with a bit of water on it. Just moist cloth, wipe it off, or if you're using it on the floor, just a damp sponge mop cleans it off. My wife is this tall. She likes to use hairspray, and I have 4 bathrooms in my house that have wood floors in it. And so with hairspray, it goes out drops, right? By the end of the week, I feel like I'm walking on sandpaper sometimes, right? Because there's that fine there. She can take the cleaner, or I can take the cleaner, depending on who gets a short straw. Take the cleaner, spray it on the floor, take a damp cloth, wipe it off, and it's smooth as the day was put on. Yeah, it just cleans it out, scuff marks from shoes, all kinds of stuff. Really great cleaner, but it doesn't deteriorate the film. It doesn't add anything to it. It's just going to bring it back to what you really have there. And once you've cleaned it, then you can scuff it and freshen it up with a fresh coat of wipe-on poly.
Ralph?
Yeah.
Which retailer would carry the biggest assortment of your product? So the guys were looking for stuff.
One of the best ones local to get a hold of any of our products is Home Hardware. They list probably 85% of what we make. Some of the products they don't list, but they can still get it for you, even if there's something you want it for a particular reason. Box stores have a tendency to, what they will look at, and this is something that doesn't work for most of us that are trying to do projects, because they look at the high volume SKUs. They'll say, okay, give us your top 10 selling SKUs. Okay, we can say, okay, we give you the top 10 selling SKUs, you've got this assortment, but then you don't have this to go with it. So you're kind of like, and you have to play that game a little bit with them. But, there is places where they do have good selections of our product and available. So just kind of, if there's anything you're looking for in the magazine or the catalog or anything like that, just walk in the store, ask them for, if they do carry it, do stock it. If they don't, then you can just check out the next vendor. But there's some of the ones like Millwork down here used to have a really good selection of product. Now that they're gone, so there's, you're not sure what all the assortments are going to be there, but there is some good selections available.
If looking for a particular SKU of Minwax product, is there a customer service department with access to the details of, in a certain postcode say, they definitely have such and such that you're looking for?
You would think so, but no. And it's something that we've tried to do over the past, trying to get, in some places you can go onto websites and you just say, I'm looking for this SKU, and it'll, off our website, they give you a chart of where it's available. It's difficult for us to track that through, because sometimes we go through distributors, sometimes we go through direct to stores, sometimes we do through distribution centers. So it's never that easy to do it, but I guarantee you it's one of those things. If you phone a home hardware store and ask them for that particular product, they have on their computer system, they can actually access it through their system to tell you whether they do stock it or not, or have ever stocked. A lot of the stores don't stock everything because they've never had anybody come in and ask for it. And so they'll only stock what they get asked for, but it's all good. All right. I want to talk a little bit about going into some finishes. I know we've got a lot of different types of finish, a lot of different things. I know it's really warm in here and everybody's had supper and a little bit easy to nap off and that kind of stuff. And I don't blame anybody, because I would usually do that myself. But I just want to try to get you through a few more things to just show you some of the results here. I know some of you have had opportunity to use our products that maybe not understand exactly what they are. Antique oil, tongue oil, these are pretty familiar with most of you guys. Antique oil gives you more of a satin finish. Tongue oil can give you a higher gloss level to it. You can buff it up and bring multiple coats and bring it up to any amount of sheen you pretty much want. So,
would you like to see some of your product in action?
I've seen a couple pieces go out here already, and I know that you guys really do well with your finishing and that, but it's always good to try something a little bit different if you're looking for something. Sometimes, like I talked briefly about putting antique oil on, and then you can actually put a polyurethane over top of it as well. So there is some times when you can do multiple types of finishes on it, because these ones are fully curing oils. They're not an open oil. They're not going to be leaching out. Give them 10 days, 14 days, and you can put a coat of polyurethane right over top of this as well. This can go over top of our oil-based stain. So if you want to put a little bit of color into the wood, still put an oil style finish on it, you can good to go with that. With the oil finish, the rule of thumb is brush on a coat, leave it on for 5 minutes, wipe it off, come back the next day, put another coat on, the same application. And really, once the pores of the wood are full, it's not going to build much more finish on it until you actually burnish it and rub it. Excuse me.
So it's like a 24-hour
recoat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should give it that time, and that's really, and it depends on the species of wood. What it does is, some species are fairly dense. It takes a little longer for it to go in and fill to the bottom, and then when you put that second coat on, it just kind of fills up the top pores that are still open at that point. Yes?
Can
compare the tongue oil, antique oil, and say your polyurethane in there for on any table versus a sweating beer glass or a hot cup. They're all the same, or one better than the other.
One of the things about ring marks now on tabletop, usually ring marks where they come from is from here, the bottom side of the table. If you do a solid wood tabletop, always make sure you at least coat the bottom side with a bit of stain or an oil finish. Because if this is an open pore here, it's going to draw moisture into it. And when you set something wet or something hot on the surface, it draws that moisture up, and that's what creates those white ring marks. So always when you're doing solid wood tops, it's a great place to play around with color and finish to make sure you're getting the results you want on the bottom side, but it also will help seal that off. And what that does for you is not only seals it off, it stabilizes the moisture content in the wood, so you don't have cupping, warping, and shrinkage as much when you seal off the bottom. It's like it's encapsulated piece. Yes?
I do a lot of painting, and a lot of people have me paint their inside of the garage doors.
Yes.
For that simple reason that it doesn't draw
Yeah.
moisture.
Yeah. If you're doing a garage door, for example, and you're putting a clear film on it, like our spar urethane, you should make sure you coat all sides of it, the top, the bottom, and you know the edges where all the hardware is, anything like that. It has to be kind of sealed off, because if there's an open pore where moisture can wick in, it'll pull that moisture into the wood, and then as soon as the sun hits it, it draws that moisture out, and it'll pull the film right off the surface of it. Very difficult to get the white rings off the table. It's a lot easier to stop them from happening in the first place. But with as far as durability goes, polyurethane is probably more durable against perfumes and colognes and different things like that, because it is a film on the surface, and it doesn't allow the colognes and that in place to penetrate in, where an oil will have a tendency to allow it to wick in, and you will see sometimes marks from that. So, yeah. To answer your question about that, yeah.
What about cups for like cups of wine, cups of beer, cups of whiskey, cups of hot liquids? Which would be a best finish to put on the inside of that cup?
Like if you're doing wooden vessels for wine and that kind of stuff, probably I would stick with the wipe on poly as a film, because it's a lot more. It's like Tupperware in a liquid format. Really, it's gonna yeah. And if you stick with a satin, you're not going to get a high sheen level to it. Biggest thing with wooden vessels and glass and that kind of and cups and that is you just kind of damp cloth wipe them out more than anything, because you can't put them in the dishwasher obviously, or any hot water, because they will change shape, right? Yeah. Yes.
Going back to the antique one, you're saying you put that over something that's already been stained?
Yes, you can put it over top of a penetrating oil-based stain like this. Yeah.
Or you wouldn't put it on just natural wood?
Yes, you can. Yeah, you can. Even on rough wood, like if you're doing rough cedar or anything like that, like sometimes you get an old nail barrel or something, you want to kind of put a finish on it. Definitely, you can brush it on, just back brush off any excess after the 5 minutes, and that's really all you're going to do. Yep. We also do make a teak oil as well. The teak oil, the difference being from it to the antique oil and the tongue, this one has a UV inhibitor in it, so it can be used exterior as well. So this can be used as for marine application, as well as any furniture for outside. It basically penetrates in the wood like an antique oil does, and then hardens from within. So this one, when you put it on some of the exotic woods, thing to keep in mind, they'll tell you the directions on the can was to put it on, leave it on for 5 minutes, come back and re-wet it with another coat, keep it moist for another 20 minutes, and then wipe it off. Just because some of the exotic woods are taking a little longer for it to penetrate in, but you can use it on cedar and pine as well for exterior furniture as well. Yeah.
Can you use it as a refinish too? On like, if you don't know what's already on the exterior wood?
Oh yes, definitely, like as a rejuvenator.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times if you got teak wood, it's got a little gray or that kind of stuff, you can use even a deck cleaner brightener, like a Thompson's deck cleaner brightener, to bring the color back up, and then reapply the teak oil to it to put nourishment back into it. Because a lot of the imported furniture we get from Malaysia and all different areas, the wood is not used to our climate and it dries out very quickly, so that's a really good way to kind of rejuvenate it. Yes?
Got some T-Compo, and I've been using Dexalate 1 2. Can you put that over top?
I'm not sure about the Dexalate. Is it like a film?
It's an oil. One is an oil, and Dexalate 2 has varnish.
Yeah, so it's a two-part kind of application. It wouldn't go through
The varnish.
the varnish part of it, yeah. I've used this one in marine applications as a base coat and then put our helmsman over top of it as a second product over top of it. So our helmsman polyurethane over top of it. This guy here.
Okay.
Yeah, this will give you the film coating, and this is available in satin, semi-gloss, or high-gloss finish. So you can actually use this as your base product and then that one over top of it as well. They're only meant for above water line though, so it's not. I have a friend of mine that has a sailboat, he has it on his tiller and he puts it in the water all the time, but it's not left in there, so he gets away with it, but it's one of those things. The price point is a whole lot less than what any marine product is usually.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so then we talked about a little bit about wipe-on poly, and for those that don't know me and say, well, this is really great that the company sends them out here, but they give me all these dinted cans. What's the deal with that? Well, this is actually something that I do for the product. It's not something that they would probably think of too much because they don't know always how the best way to treat product is. So one of the things to keep in mind about all our films is they're all air cured. So the more air you have in the can, the more it's going to set up, right? Even if you turn the can upside down, you still have that much air in there, right? It's still always in there. So all I do is take my cap, pop it open, like so, and squeeze the can and bring the product back up to the top so there's no air in the can, right? What that's going to do for me is going to keep the product in the same condition it was when I buy it. Usually when you first open up a can and you use it, no matter whether you're brushing it on or putting it on with a rag, whatever it is, it flows off very well, very evenly, very uniformly. When you get a little further down, it gets stickier. By the time you get to the bottom, you're trying to smear it on there kind of thing. That's because the dryers and that kind of stuff are already setting it up and evaporate it out, so it doesn't really flow the same way it's meant to flow. So when you do this, don't stand with your head over top of the can. You may laugh, but I have seen it happen. And just take and squeeze that can, bring the product up to the top, release, squeeze it again, bring it back up. Once you get it up to the top, you just clean off the lip of your container, seal it back up, and when you go to use it next time, it's going to be in the same condition it was when you used it the last time.
What about putting some propane in the top?
I have a hard time seeing how much is in there. Visually, I can see the liquid. With propane or argon or anything like that, I have a hard time figuring out if I got it in there, and I'm always concerned about, whether any interaction will happen with the product because it's trying to cure with air. Is the propane still going to try to, there's something there that's going to try to affect the film, right? So I just go with what I can visually see. If I'm working out of a can, a round can like this, obviously I can't squeeze the can because this is plastic. It won't just bounce back anyways. It won't take the shape. But this one, if you go to the dollar store, you can buy a bag of marbles, drop your marbles in here and fill it back up to the top. Clean your lid up, put it back down there. You've got to keep it from drying out inside the can, creating that skim on the surface. The other thing I do a lot of times is I'll take a little bit of 6 mil poly vapor barrier. I'll cut a circle the size of the can, put a little slice in the center of it. When I'm finished using the product, I'll put it inside the can, float it right on top of the product. When I want to use it the next time, just take a wire with a little hook on the end, go down, pull that piece of poly out, throw it away you go. You stir it up, you're ready to go again, right? You're just going to keep the air away from it. Now, everybody's probably seen, different numbers of different polyurethanes. We have our clear drying, water cleanup, polyacrylic formula. We have an oil modified version, which is water based. We have our